What's up, guys? This is the Deeper Podcast.
Welcome.
You
thought I was going to give you more than that, didn't you?
I didn't know what
that was a
where we
one-word
were
greeting.
There. I haven't hosted in a while.
I know we're out of practice.
I am out of practice.
Now, to be fair, last week when Bryce was here, when we started the podcast, I responded to his welcome in such a way that we had to stop the camera and then we talked for like almost an hour afterwards, which was a great conversation.
Yes.
In fact, we just got done with one of those. You're never going to see these, but we jokingly call it the Deeper Podcast.
Yes.
Because there's something about putting this mic in front of us that just makes us open up.
Yes.
We talk to each other like we never would. So
never to be seen.
Never to be seen.
No.
Yeah, we delete and burn the footage. So
Absolutely.
many SD cards are just ashes in the wind.
Yeah, I'll go do that after.
Yeah. They still exist. Okay. So if you want to get us fired, you could just go dig through the drawers in Caleb's office and find a stack of cards with information on them.
No, man, we had a busy weekend, all of us.
It was a weekend, man. It was crazy. Disciple Now weekend. Apparently, this is a very popular weekend to do this type of event all over the country because I had friends in Georgia and another state. I can't remember which one that guy's at, but he was doing one this weekend. You had one in Tyler County.
I did.
I had one in Corpus Christi County. I don't know what county that is, but
do not know.
whatever county Corpus Christi is in. And then right here in Jasper County, baby, made it happen.
Yeah.
It's central. So we had D-Nows going on everywhere. For those who don't know what D-Now is, tell them just briefly, what is a D-Now?
Yeah, so I'm sure D-Now has been happening since the 90s probably.
Jesus actually started it.
Yeah, but it's just Disciple Now.
Disciple
right?
Now.
So
yeah.
I think it's, about discipleship, but it's also about, in that aspect, helping the youth grow to go out into the community.
That's
maybe
right.
Get some practical, work done.
It's not disciple
training.
later.
Yeah.
It's not disciple past.
Yeah.
It's disciple now.
So we're not just talking about what do we do to be a disciple, but let's go do it.
Yeah, and I love that. Most of these types of weekends do have some aspect where there is service perhaps, or like going and blessing your community, doing some sort of mission project, or some have like an evangelistic bent. So, man, they're great things, and not every church does them. In fact, it is somewhat regional. I do know that. When I went to Wichita and pastored up there, the first time that I pitched the idea of a D-Now, people were like, had never heard of it.
Yeah.
And were very confused about what it was. Host homes was like, wait, what? We're staying at people's houses? It was kind of a wild deal. In fact, fun story, my music people at that D-Now, you and J-Bob.
Yes, and Seth was there too, I think. Was he?
I don't know that Seth came.
Maybe not. I
think it was just you. Yeah, you and Jay. And actually, the little known fact, Reed Hawthorne was the speaker, and Caleb and Jacob came and did music, and they started COVID. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Like COVID wasn't a thing.
I mean,
they came to Wichita, and then COVID was unleashed. So I don't know if that was the Lord's judgment or what.
Yeah.
So they talk
That's
about the
crazy.
Wuhan lab. I think it was actually the Southeast Texans that came to Wichita. We do have an airport there, and it spread quickly. So
No, but the other side of D-Now Memories is, that's what it is. It's a memory maker for the youth group. We were talking
100%.
about at our, when we were doing the one in Tyler County at Mount Olivet, pastor there, David McDougall, he asked, what was your experiences from D-Now? And I just couldn't help but think about the crucial development of our youth group that happened during those moments.
Mm-hmm.
When we do have those weekends away, and maybe it's not just D-Now, but those youth weekend events where you get to know each other more.
Yeah.
The leaders start to pop out, and you start to see the dynamic of your youth group. So
there's something that happens in all of our lives spiritually when we intentionally stop from our normal rhythm and set aside time to seek the Lord.
Yeah.
That's why churches have revivals and special discipleship weekends, legacy weekend that we had a few months ago. Like, those things matter, and it's kind of become unpopular. It's funny, in the last 15, 20 years, the idea of revival became a joke almost. People are like, how do you schedule a revival? Like, it's real snarky the way they talk about it.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're going to put a move of God on the calendar? But that's not what people are doing. The idea of revival, fall awakening, whatever you may want to call these events, is just to say, hey, we're going to literally build time in our lives to seek the Lord together as a church, as a youth group, as a staff. So, man, retreats, camps, D-Nows, revivals, all those things are excellent tools in the believer's life. And it's really cool when we get the opportunity to do what we did this weekend and all get to participate in those. So if you're listening to the Deeper podcast or watching this week and thinking this kind of has a different feel than what we usually do, 100%. So I meant to do this right at the top. Let me tell you kind of what we're going to do, and then we will go from there. We're going to start with Caleb sharing about his weekend experience with D-Now. Then I'm going to talk about my experience. Then we'll together talk a little bit about Central's D-Now, even though we weren't here. But we both dealt with students and Bryce and talked to people about it. So we want to share a little bit about some of the things God did here. And then we will briefly, before we hang up today, because this is a phone call, we will talk about Brother Bryce's sermon from yesterday. That was awesome. So, so why don't you kick off? You were in beautiful downtown Fred, Texas, right across the street from your house at Mount Olivet Baptist Church, featuring the late, great Pastor David McDougall. He's not dead, so late dead was not the right word.
He's not dead.
We'll just call him the great David McDougall.
Yeah, no, it was a really good weekend. Spurger, First Baptist Church Spurger, joined them.
That's my home church.
I don't know. Would you say that in the past, Fred and Spurger has kind of been like a,
So now we got bad blood.
Is that the case, you think?
I
can't put you on the spot like that, can
No, it's not really been the case. There's not really a rivalry because they don't play or school or anything like that. No, but there sometimes has been a disconnect, I guess, because so Fred goes to school in Warren and Spurger, they don't really play each other very often. I will say when they do, sometimes it's a little bit intense, but no, I don't think there's like a bad blood deal or anything like that. But I don't know. So the whole time I grew up, there were very few events that we all did together. Yeah. So I think it's really cool that they partnered for this.
Yeah, and that's my point. Regardless of if there was or if there wasn't, to see the work that Dustin at FBC Spurger and David have done to connect these churches through this was awesome. We had a good 30 kids there, which is a great number. Yeah. Especially for a D-Now. You know what I mean? Like that's a typical, actually kind of a more attended D-Now. So, no, it was a great weekend. I know they got to spend some time doing some service stuff like we talked about. I know it was good for me too, just to spend that extra time doing worship, and hearing these kids sing.
And who'd you take with you? Who led worship alongside you?
Yeah, so I had my brother-in-law, Troy, who plays bass. Y'all may remember Troy.
Oh, T-Roy.
Yeah, throwback.
In the house.
Yeah.
He left us, so he's dead to me.
Yeah.
I'm kidding, Troy. If you watch this, I love you, bro, and I'm glad you're serving.
Yes, yeah. My friend Seth Burks played lead, and then
that's an
our
828
very
reunion.
own.
Oh, man, wait for it.
Justin Keene.
My man.
On the drums. Shout out, Justin.
Shout out. Why did we get quiet after that? We had nothing else to say, Justin.
No.
We were so in awe of your drumming that we just got silent.
Yeah, no, I remember getting to ask him and his excitement.
Yeah.
And my excitement to give him that opportunity.
It's pretty cool.
It was so much fun.
In fact, it was so much fun. Y'all are running it back again this next weekend at another church, right?
Yeah, we're going to a church in Tyler, Southern Oaks Baptist Church, to do another D-Now together.
On the road again. Yeah. So he's basically full-time with us and then also has a second part-time job gigging.
Yeah, yep. And it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And again, Justin will be with me on that one.
And too, for the record, if anybody is watching this is like, no, really, he's doing so. You're going to be back here for a little while. Yeah. I mean, it's fun to get to do extra things, but there's no place like home.
No,
you don't have to worry.
Not.
He's not going to be, opening for Micah or anything like that soon.
Not my plans. No.
We staying home. Home. So, but it is cool to get to go and lead in other contexts. It's a blessing. It reminds you that the kingdom of God is bigger than just our church here.
Yes.
and just to be able to bless others with the gifts God's given you. So I know they appreciated you being there.
Yeah, it was a really good weekend. I'm looking forward to this weekend. So,
Yeah.
what about you?
So who
Go ahead.
who preached at this one this weekend?
Alex Smith.
Alex Smith. He's a longtime friend of the show.
Yes. Yeah.
Youth pastor over at
Cornerstone. Yeah.
Church I used to
Yeah,
pastor.
Alex, it was really cool. I was telling Rusty this. Alex was a younger youth while I was a youth at Cornerstone. And so I was telling him, to see us both come from that church and do ministry together was pretty awesome.
I was Alex's pastor when he was on the San Francisco 49ers. Not really, but I was his pastor or he came to our church. I think he was still going to church with grandma on Sundays, but he came to church when Alex Smith was playing for the 49ers. So for those of you keeping score at home, that's been a minute.
Yeah.
It's been a while. He was in, I think, 5th grade at the time. So
yes.
so a lot has changed in all of our lives.
He towers me now.
Yeah, it's awesome. So that's cool you got to do that, man, over in Tyler County, TC, right there across the street. So we talked, Caleb had to come back over here like at midnight to reset the stage for yesterday morning. And as you were doing that, he called me and we were just talking about it. And he was talking about how nice it was to go to church across the street. So shout out to those of you who live close to Central. It's pretty awesome. But shout out to many people who, like Caleb, take that little commute up in here. So God's good.
Yeah, for sure. Well, how was your weekend?
I just went to the beach, just kind of hung out.
Did you see the Blue Ghost?
I don't even know what that is.
The big aircraft carrier, the ship.
I did not. I did not.
USS Lexington.
I guess I just didn't do anything.
That's sad.
No, we were joking. So our friend Jimmy said to me Wednesday night, "You ready for your vacation?" And I was like, "I'm gonna drive 10 hours and in 2 days and preach 3 times in 24 hours.
Goodness.
So if that's a vacation, I'm as ready as I'm going to be." But it was fun. It's always good to get out of your normal context.
Right.
The drive there Friday was good. And it was a great group of kids. There were 3 different churches involved. And it's always fun to preach to different groups than you normally preach to. I haven't done a youth event in a long time, probably since outside of Central stuff, was probably launch camp before I was the pastor here. So it was nice to be able to do that. It was fun to get to go share the word with them. And it is pretty cool that on your way to the church to preach, you drive to a stop sign and there's a crossroad, and across the street is the ocean.
Yeah.
It is just kind of one of those things. So we're sitting there at the stoplight, and the pastor is just talking to me, or my good friend Aaron and Stephanie. They're just talking. We're visiting, and I finally just interrupted and said, "Do you ever get tired of this? Like, it's just amazing to be looking at the ocean." So people asked, "How in the world did you get hooked up with that event? How do you go to Corpus Christi?" And it was because of my friends Aaron and Stephanie, who are both on staff ministers at Second Baptist Church in Corpus Christi. And they've been friends of mine for a couple decades. We started doing camp ministry together a long time ago, and we've just been able to do life together, sometimes up close, sometimes from far away, but have been good friends for a long time. So it was cool to get to do this with them. I was supposed to do it last year, but my mother-in-law, when she was dying, we got a call that it was looking imminent, so I had to call and cancel. Yeah. So I was honored that they asked again. I canceled the week of D-Now a year ago, so it was awesome that they asked me to come back. So it was fun to be with them. Like I said, there were 3 different churches involved, so that's always fun to watch a group of kids. And I think there were 75-ish kids total. So to watch those kids kind of become one over time was fun. Yeah. And I sent you pictures. Of course, we're church nerds, so like looking at their different buildings. Yeah. So First Baptist Corpus Christi is just, is a First Baptist church. They had a beautiful campus, a big rec center, 3 stories in their main building of all kinds of space and activities, a beautiful kind of classic looking sanctuary, auditorium setup that, just looks really cool. Second Baptist also has a gorgeous facility. I sent you the picture of that one because that one's the one I'm like, hey, that kind of looks cool. It's modernish, but it looks like a church. So a lot to love about that one too. And then the third church was a church called Grace Community, and they were a bunch of sweet folks. We had a good time hanging out with them too. So I just loved every bit of it. Probably the highlight for me, though, was Saturday. We went to a church called Station Church. And Station Church is in the downtown area, and they are a church that primarily reaches homeless people. And it was really cool because the director got up there, Pastor Ryan was his name, and he said, the first thing I need to tell y'all is we're not a soup kitchen. We're not a homeless ministry. We're not a shelter. We're a church. But what makes our church different from your church is that we serve the poorest people in our city. And what they do is on Wednesdays and Sunday nights, they have church and Bible study. And the way they go about it is they do a meal, and different churches in the city come help them with that meal. And they serve each person that shows up. They said it's somewhere around 170 people every Wednesday and Sunday night. Wow. And then when they're done with the meal, they go over and have church. Wow. And I loved it because, they said usually 20 or 30 people stay for church. So they don't do, I know what I would do, and I even just know from our people and the culture of our church, like, well, you ain't going to get that food if you don't cook. That's not how they are, man. They just want to feed them and love on them. And again, part of their bit of not being a soup kitchen, they don't make you come through a line or anything like that. You sit down with your coffee or drink or whatever, and people serve you your meal. So they do that twice a week. It was just so cool to hear them talk about that. They had some facility needs, really a lot of junk that needed to be removed. They were flipping some things around in their building. And to see like 100 people with adults and kids all together, like a bunch of ants making that job happen. They had a rollaway dumpster, and there was just a line in and out.
Wow.
And they did more in about 45 minutes than probably their normal team could have done in a month. So it was really cool to move the ball down the field for them. In fact, I want to talk to our church about helping what they did is they flipped their dining room space and their worship space. So they're wanting their worship space to look a little more like a church. Now, it won't look like our normal churches. I think they kind of want tables and chairs because they do a little more Bible study-ish. But they want to kind of make a stage-ish area and have some lights and a background that's static and normal. And I want to talk to our church. I'm going to do that some Wednesday night and see if maybe we can give toward them to try to help make that a reality for them. But that was my favorite part. It was a really cool service project and an opportunity to do that. Yeah, we were sitting there as he's talking about it, and I'm thinking, we're talking about remodeling the space in here, what that's going to cost, trying to add some chairs. And I'm thinking, and here's a church that's reaching the least of these, the people that are so easily forgotten. And here we are, fat and happy in our awesome building, thinking we need to spend money and get things. Yeah. And we do. Like, trust me, gears are going. We're going to work toward that. But ultimately, I want to help them before we do our project. So I'm going to talk to our church about that a little bit, see if we can maybe help. But that was awesome. The worst part of the whole thing was, and I knew I did this on purpose, Aaron and Stephanie said, just stay the night and get up early Sunday and drive home. But we had Youth-Led Sunday here at Central yesterday, and I wanted to be back. I wanted to hear Etta play the piano for that. So I left at 9:15 from Corpus Christi and drove all the way back to Buna, Texas. It was the wildest 5-hour drive of my life. I was exhausted. Stopped at Buc-ee's in Wharton, Texas at about midnight and ate this massive Texas Philly cheesesteak burrito and drank this like a 55-gallon drum of Diet Coke. Wow. And powered on through, man.
That'll do it.
That'll do it, man. It'll do it. It'll make some things come alive in you.
Stop a little more.
It'll make some things come alive in you. But no, we made it home. I told people it's kind of weird if you've ever had to do the late night drive. And Joel was talking about this yesterday. It's like everything was great, but then all of a sudden Baytown happened. And in my head, the closer you get to home, the more you're going to be like, I'm almost there, and it'll re-energize you. Nope. Baytown to Buna, that was a whooping. But praise God, I made it, and I am semi-recovered. All of us took a little bit of a break today. Yeah. We came in. It's as of recording time, it is 12:32, and Caleb and I have been here about 45 minutes. So we did not come early today. Rested a little bit, and we'll get back on the horse.
Yeah. No, this weekend was pretty good. I won't forget the moment when Wednesday night we got some of those guys that had not been up there plugged in their guitars and stuff, and their face,
our students. So you're for those who we're talking about Sunday morning here. We had youth-led service.
Yes.
Everybody on the stage outside of you is one of our Central students.
Yes. And so those kids, right, that it was their first time holding the mic, standing in front, seeing how things work. it brought me back to when I was allowed to serve at Cornerstone.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's just special,
Yeah.
seeing that.
Etta, my daughter, talked about the in-ear monitors, which is funny for those of you who have been around for Caleb and I's concerts. She must take after her dad because I'm always like, these newfangled devices. But that was an overwhelming experience for her to have that and to be in control of all that. And she just talked about that on and on after practice Wednesday night. But yeah, it was so cool to watch them use their gifts and talents, and not only the musicians, but we had students that greeted people, students that did announcements, and took up the offering, like just getting up and serving and using their gifts. And like we say regularly, this isn't the church of tomorrow. This is the church of right now. Yeah. And we pointed out, several of those people that lead on praise team lead with our adult team on a regular basis. Yeah. Like it's wild to see the transformation of Levi from first time drumming, scared as all get out, to now being the grizzly veteran on the stage Sunday, him and Jack, and it was just cool to watch that. And I love our church. I love that we get to use our students and help them lead us today. And it's going to be fun to watch what God does in their lives in the future. Yeah,
I think it encourages all ages of our church to understand, like, we're multi-generational.
Yeah, that's right.
We're not separated. We are one church.
That's right.
And that, I think, we will keep doing youth-led Sundays, for that reason.
And Disciple Now here at Central was fantastic.
Yes.
Talking with Bryce and Etta and others. Man, God did some really cool things. The worship services, we had Danny Jackson from First Baptist Silsbee came over and preached. They had Aubrey, who came from Jasper, and shared not only a message with them, but also taught them an evangelism method, helped and learn that. And then Reed Hawthorne came over that evening. So really cool. They got to hear some different voices, some that were pretty familiar around here. Obviously, Aubrey Bond and Reed Hawthorne are products of our church, but Danny is a longtime friend of ours as well. So got to hear some people we love, share the word with them. And also we had Brandon Culpepper and band, good friends of ours. They've led at camps we've done. To have them here was awesome. Yeah. Shout out to Brinkman. Our man, Brother Brian, is such a gift to our church in so many ways. Yes. But for those who don't know, Caleb and I we are like Linus's blanket and Bryce's Linus. Bryce is a very gifted and effective leader, but all of us depend on each other. We're like the three amigos. You take two amigos out, and all of a sudden it's like, Yeah. So Bryce, Caleb, and I, we all know that, and really you more than me. But anyways, that if we need something, a text or a phone call, and we can get it figured out. Well, because of the ice storm a couple weeks ago, we shoved it up to today, to this past weekend. So you had this D now lined up. Yes. I had a D now lined up. So all of a sudden, Bryce is on his own. But praise God, man, because he wasn't on his own. He had our young adults that came and served, and they crushed it. So thankful for them. He had Brian. I know Joel. There were probably other adult leaders that helped pull off the food and things like that. But so thankful for the village that came up and helped make this weekend possible. Probably my favorite thing, though, all the things we could say, is what happened Saturday afternoon when they actually went out and shared the gospel with our community. And they did it in some unique ways. They played a game that somehow ended up with our church at one point having 2 live animals in it. So there is that.
I didn't hear about the second one. But
You've not heard about this?
No, I've heard about the one live.
So there was a game where they had to go to our community and trade, starting with the paperclip, and the goal was to trade up and see what you could get.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
So one group very quickly has a puppy.
Yes.
And it's like, did not go as planned. Another group gets a rooster.
Wow.
You're just now hearing this right now for the first time.
I'm guessing it was in the group text, and I just didn't.
No, it wasn't.
That.
No, okay, because they didn't.
I have not heard.
You know why it wasn't in the group text? Because they didn't want Pastor Rusty to know. So now that we're on the deeper podcast with Pastor a live rooster
Spurs
apparently was running around the church at some point this weekend.
What?
Yes. So anyway,
That's a D now story.
that's
right
a
there.
that's a D now story they'll never forget. Etta
Yeah.
was just on cloud nine, laughing. The college students were at the house last night. I don't know. I do know some of our students listen to this, so I don't want to pull the curtain back too much. But they were talking about Brother Bryce saying, don't tell Brother Rusty, don't tell Brother Rusty," and one of the college students was like, "It's kind of weird that he was telling the kids not to tell you." And I was like, you need to know that was a bit.
Yeah.
Like, Bryce didn't think I was going to come up here and fire him on the spot because a rooster was in our facility at some point.
No.
But then the cock crowed the third time and he realized he had made a great mistake.
Yeah.
He actually took it out back and they wrung its neck and cooked it that night.
I have a D now story about that.
So no, anyways, yeah, pretty wild. But that goofiness, fun, crazy D now stories aside,
Yes.
they shared the gospel with so many people.
Yeah.
One of my favorite moments was our friend Leslie Turley, who came up. Did she share this with you?
Yeah.
So they went to somebody's house, and these folks were out in their yard practicing for an activity they engage in, like some sort of, it was actually arm wrestling, I think, but they do it at actual competitions. So don't want to get derailed on that, but that's wild. But nonetheless, they go up and ask if they can talk to him about Jesus. And the guy who's kind of running the practice is like, "Oh yeah, do it. They need to hear it." And they share the gospel. Well, it was really cool. Leslie kind of realized upon further investigation and conversation that they really had kind of interrupted something. So she looked them up on Facebook because they met them all, and she just sent a little message saying, "Hey, thank you for letting us take time to share with you. Sorry for interrupting y'all's thing." To which he responded, "Y'all are awesome for doing this," and said some of those guys there needed to hear that. And it was just really cool to see some real fruit in those moments. And I know, talking to some of the young adults last night who helped lead this, there were some great conversations that they had, not only with the kids, but with some of these people that they were able to engage with. So proud, man, to see our students actually practicing their faith, living it out, and also taking those steps of sharing the gospel. That's what D-Now is all about, man.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that our students got to do it. Brother Bryce should be back with us next week, and he may want to share a little more about D-Now from his perspective. But I just want you to know it wasn't wasted effort. You see pictures of bands and speakers, and maybe you see pictures of, roosters and puppies and craziness and fun and food, and all those things happened. Yes and amen. But the big thing, the most important thing, is that the gospel was proclaimed, and then not only did they receive the gospel and hear the word, they went and shared the word. So proud of our Central students. It was a great time, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
And all of it culminated with an awesome youth-led Sunday.
Yes. I jumped the gun.
No, you're good, man. No, you're good. It was packed here.
Yeah.
Man. There were so many people here to watch their students do their thing.
Yeah.
We had baptized Miss Sherry, and her family was there. So it was a full house yesterday, and it was fun to be in the Lord's house. Brother Bryce delivered a great message.
Yes.
A message on biblical manhood, and he preached an incredible text, 2 Corinthians 5, that is honestly not specifically about manhood at all, but the Lord had led Bryce to apply it towards men in our congregation, and it was well received. I had a lot of people say, "Man, that was a great message." Really, the only deeper thing I would say on it is that encouragement, and I kind of mentioned it at the end of the services as well. Yes, biblical men, let's go out there and do what Brother Bryce encouraged us to do, but also know that every point in Bryce's message, you could take biblical man out and put Christ follower or biblical woman, and those points are all valid.
Yeah.
That we ought to be people who are changed by the life of Christ, who sacrifice for others, and who are new creations, and who are, as the ESV says, for the love of Christ controls us. That's just what when Brother Bryce read the text, he could have just shut his Bible and walked off, because the Holy Spirit just started dealing with me on that line alone. For the love of Christ controls us. What would it look like for us to be a people who live under the control of the love of God? Yeah. That Greek word he talked about means to be consumed with. The same word's used in Acts chapter 18, and it says Paul was occupied by the word. The same word is alluded to in Hebrew in Job, and it says constrained. This constrains me. So it's kind of a weird word. Like, it's a word that kind of means it hedges me in and blocks me off and occupies me and takes me. And the idea of that is that the love of God is the driving force in our lives. I'm occupied by the love of God. I'm controlled by the love of God. I'm compelled by the love of God. Everything I do comes out of the overflow of that. So that just wrecked me yesterday, just reading the text. Isn't the Bible awesome? That before we even start preaching, God moves and God speaks. But then as Bryce continued to share the word, it was awesome. It was a good word that was a good word in a good season. Proverbs says that the right word is like a silver apple in gold settings or something like that. Yeah. That's a misquote probably, but basically it means a word in the right season is very valuable. And I believe that was the right word for some of our people in the right season. So thankful for Brother Bryce, thankful for him preaching. But guess what? Don't call it a comeback. I'm preaching next week.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, I know. Shocker. Hey, folks, we're ready to announce this. Huge announcement. You're not going to believe this. I'm preaching Sunday. So, yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's going to be a good couple of weeks to come. And again, Sunday was great. This weekend was awesome. So,
thank y'all for listening. This was just kind of us talking.
Yeah.
We just got here. I've literally made a cup of coffee.
Like just a recap.
We've been just recapping. So hope you enjoyed this, kind of getting to hear what our ministries were like this weekend. But we back at Central, and we're going hard on what the Lord has for us. In fact, we're about to go into a staff meeting and look at the calendar for the rest of 2026.
Oof. I'm just kidding.
Come on, man.
I'm kidding.
Here I am. That's classic leader, like boss and employee. Like, let's go, staff meeting. Okay. So, all right, y'all. Well, we love you. Thanks for listening.
Yes.